Okay, hello and welcome. My name is Hannah Benedict.
And I am Jessi Sikander, and today we are continuing on the conversation around resiliency. And in particular, we want to talk about how do we build resiliency in little kids, younger kids.
Yeah, kind of in those foundational years. And sometimes I think when I talk about this with parents, they're like, but my child flips the lid every time we say no, or like we ask them to do something that they don't want to do. And it's really, really hard. And it feels like if I push them, if life maybe is harder for them somehow, then life then becomes harder for me.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes, I think, especially right now when we have been parenting more intensely than many of us are used to for now going on many months. It feels a little bit like, why would I even try to make what feels like life harder for me in the moment?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think there's not everybody has the capacity to be really purposeful right now.
Yeah.
And
Which, where you're like, oh, this year we're going to build resiliency in our children. That's our resolution or our,
right.
we're going to be really intentional about that. I think a lot of us are in this like, we are going to survive mode.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really honest and valid to say that. And when you start looking at what are the things that build resiliency, I think you're going to be surprised that maybe you do a lot of them already.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, Hannah, what are some of those things that we can be doing with young kids to start building resiliency?
Yeah. So I think one of the most important things is talking about with resiliency, it's talking about this good enough parent. And I'm not sure, like some people have heard this before, some people have not. But there's this idea, there's a lot of like research out there talking about like it's not the perfection that is important in parenting. It's not getting it right every single time. It's not doing and saying the right thing every single time. It's basically showing up and showing up. There's this term, the good enough mother, the good enough parent. So with that, resiliency is built through connection.
Yeah.
So our kids, like we are wired, our brains, our bodies are wired for connection. It is one of the very first things that we must establish as, as a human being. When a baby is born, when a baby is in, the mother's, womb, that is connection is being built. That is important in that trusting relationship. So recognizing that no matter what your extended family, all of that looks like, it takes one stable and secure relationship for a child to have in their life to start to build that resiliency.
Yeah.
Um, so a colleague I worked with a couple of years ago was doing a body of research around people who'd experienced pretty traumatic experiences in their childhood and what it was that helped them move through that on the other side, and was interviewing them as adults for something that she was working on, and found that it was oftentimes one they could identify a relationship in their lives that was safe, that was stable and secure. So that, like, hands down, like as you are with your child, that's the most important thing. Do you show up? Are you consistent? Do they know that they're loved? Like, those types of things are really, really valuable and important in establishing resiliency.
Well, and I love that because, like you said, it's something that we're probably already doing.
Yeah.
We're probably already being purposeful enough to have a conversation with our kiddo every day, or check in with them, or play a game with them, or do something where even if it's just a 5 or 10 minute check in,
Right.
that's really all it takes. Research tells us it's really like if we can check in for 10 minutes and give a kiddo undivided attention for 10 minutes a day, that's enough of a connection to build that resiliency inside of them.
Yeah. One of the things I tell parents that I work with is if you can set aside, start with 15 minutes of special playtime once a week. Build up to a half hour. And during that special playtime, your kid's in charge. So for 15 minutes to 30 minutes, once a week, they know that they're going to get this like undivided time where they're in charge, and you, within reason, you know, like we have those boundaries of safety and those kind of things, but where they get to say, hey, will you play this, you know, video game with me? Or will you, you know, go and push me on the swings at the park or whatever? And they get to kind of dictate that. That goes a long way in fostering that relationship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, and allowing them to know that they have a safe place to come back to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's all about that what we call circle of security. So like that they can go out from you and come back, and go out from you and come back. And you'll see that like in a young child as they're, you know, 1.5, 2, as they're starting to explore their world around them. They'll go out from you and you'll watch them come back to you and check in, and then go back out and check in. And as they get older, it gets bigger, and you can still see it in like teens, you know, but it's this bigger circle. And so maybe there's a few more people in it, but
that connection piece is so important. And I think when they're little, it's sometimes it's even easier because, you know, they're interested in lots of different things. And I guess kids get older, it's setting aside that time and saying, I may not want to play this game, but you're interested. So I'm willing to enter into that with you. Or I may not care to learn how to sew, but you care. So let's go find some yarn or whatever it is. And so I think it's also gives us such a great peek into our kids' world and what they're interested in and what they're passionate about. And it's just a fun place to hold that space for them and learn more about your kiddo.
Well, and then finding the things that you all do enjoy as a, you know, family, and doing those together. You know, I know my family did that growing up, and it's something that I've been really intentional with my own family, of saying like, you know, we discovered a couple of years ago that all of us love to downhill ski. And so we have made that a priority in our family to set aside the funds to make that happen, because it's something we all enjoy doing. And I'm not doing it because, oh yeah, I love it.
Right.
But it's more, I know that we'll spend a whole day together as a family, and I'll sit on a chairlift with my kids, you know, and have a conversation with them. And then, you know, they'll talk about it and remember it. So like, there's all these things that are intentionally being built in. So see, it's something I'm doing every day, but when I look at the reasons behind it and expand those more beyond like, this is just something we all think is fun, this is how we're building resiliency.
Absolutely. If you would like more tools, really practical tools on how to build resiliency in your own family and in yourself, and to address the big emotions that we all have swirling around, please head to our website, actionparenting.org, and sign up for our online course, Big Emotions. So we will be back here again next week and talking about resiliency in our older kids.
See you later.